video came about because of something that has been kind of on my mind for a while about an issue that I often see when you kind of have a disagreement about the quality of a show, and like say you watch a few episodes of a show and you decide that you just don't like it, you don't care for it, and you may talk about it or post something about it saying, I don't like this, blah blah blah. And then one of the things that you will hear the most, and this goes like for like something that you've watched, something that you've written, etc., is, well, you've only seen part of it. You gotta look at the whole thing to really get what's going on here. And I find this to be one of the most frustrating arguments, because it becomes a case of, well, when does my opinion officially begin to count towards the quality of whatever product that I have viewed or experienced? And this seems to be a constant thing of fans trying to tell people who aren't fans that they're wrong for disliking something because they've either not finished the product in its entirety, or that they were already predisposed to disliking it and they stuck to it out of hate, and that's their fault. And I think that it's like, so when does our opinion matter? When does it actually begin to count? I think one of the first times I came across this was one of the many times is when I was reading the City of Bones book, and I was like, I'm sorry, I can only read one of these, I'm not gonna read the rest of the series. People were telling me about how like, oh, but it gets better from this point on. It's like, I don't want to dedicate that much of my time into reading something or listening to something that I actively just do not care for. And in the beginning, when I first started doing book reviews, just for the snark content, I would, you know, I did the Everbloom series on Goodreads. I read a couple books of the House of Night series, and those were, and it came to a point where I realized, like, okay, I am basically just, these books aren't fun for me. I mean, they were fun in the sense that I could listen to House of Night and it would like kill a few brain cells, but it would be fun, at least for me, to hear what was going on, just to hear the incredible wowness of it all. You know, has something has ever been so bad that you can't look away? And once I start a House of Night audiobook, I just cannot look away, because listening to it, because the person who does Zoe's voice is fantastic on audiobook, because she captures all the whiny, bratty hypocrisy of this character in like perfect sound, and I just listen to it, just like, I will be transfixed by her obliviousness, and it is an amazing experience of just my ability to snark and to just be in complete awe of writers who claim to be so progressive and yet say some of the most disgusting, vile shit on a constant basis. I don't think the House of Night series is like the pinnacle of stupid fuckery for me, and yet that was at least a joy of my own kind to read, and in that way I felt like I was completely within my right to say this city sucks, but at least I can get something out of it like this. With City of Bones, the ideas were never over the top enough and the characters were never that entertaining, so the idea that I would have to suffer through more of that series in order to get even an iota of content was like inexcusable. I was like, nope, can't do it. And so people were like, well, you have to read the whole series. I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not reading the entire series of this to get to one part where I may connect with one of these characters. It is just not worth it. And we are constantly being told that we have to complete things that we don't like, or give things that we're not interested in a chance before we can officially say that we don't like it. And I think that pushing us to like something, or, you know, furthermore engage in something that we don't like, only leads to the negative bump back. Like, I remember when a while back when Spike Lee had his whole controversy because he made comments about Django Unchained about why he was uncomfortable with the content of the film, and everyone was going on and on about, how can you make a judgment if you haven't seen the movie? You haven't seen the movie before you judge it. You don't mean, your opinions don't mean anything because you haven't seen the movie. But in my back of my mind, I'm just like, so what happens when he sees the movie and feels the exact same way? I mean, there have been times where I have seen a trailer for a movie and I'm like, this is some ratchety bullshit, and someone would be, oh yeah, give it a chance, and I gave it a chance, and what was it? Ratchety bullshit. Like, there's no way you can tell me that if I give the Halloween 2 remake a chance, that I will like it, even though it's very obvious to me as someone who is a huge fan of, you know, the Halloween franchise, I'm gonna like it. I know it's ratchety bullshit. I'm not giving it a chance because I know I'm not going to like it. And yet, if I speak about what the problems that I see already just from the trailer, like, when I do these kind of things, when I talk about trailer, like, what else am I supposed to view this on? Am I really supposed to sit through this entire movie before I can make at least a comment about what I think is going on here? And I understand that you can't get the full effect of what it could be if you don't watch it. I get that, and I think that when people do, they usually say, like, I didn't see the whole thing, but what I got from the trailer, what bothered me was this, and that, and the third. I think that's perfectly fair, because, like, okay, I am a huge Freddy Krueger girl. I love him. He's my favorite of those slasher villains. I love him. But when the new Nightmare on Elm Street movie came out, I was like, I was tempted. I was like, I want to see this, but I get the feeling that this is going to be some stupidness and I'm not going to enjoy it. And what vindicated me from that, when everyone was telling me, oh, you gotta watch it, it's really good, it's really good, it's really good, you gotta give it a chance, it's really good, was when other people who had the same kind of ideas as me would actually be like, see, this is why I didn't want to see it. And then everyone wants to get on my case about, like, oh, you don't give stuff a chance. And I think that, like, give it a chance. I did. You know, the trailer that you get from the movie, the one book that you read that's the beginning of a series, that is your chance. You can't, like, if someone came up to me, if I was talking to someone about Harry Potter, and I was telling them, and they're like, I don't like Harry Potter, it's too childish, blah, blah, and I would tell them that, oh yeah, wait till the 4th book. Like, when you're a fan of something, that sounds fun. Like, oh, when you get to the 4th book, it gets more intense because, you know, that's what happens. And I remember, like, for me, the 3rd and 4th books were just kind of like, oh my god, this is amazing. But you cannot tell someone that they need to read about 900 pages of something before it gets good or gets to the point that they're interested in, because that's just a lot of work dredging through nothing that you're interested in to get to the good stuff. And how many times have we sat through bullshit to get to the good stuff of something? Star Wars Clone Wars, I sat through that entire stupid movie just so I could see my homeboys fight Yoda and Dooku. I was like, this is what I came here to see. I'm gonna stick through this bitch. I'm gonna be very, very angry the entire time, but I'm gonna watch it. And then the other thing is, like, hate watching. People will be like, oh, you hate watch it, so you're not allowed to really judge it on quality or whatever. And I'm just like, look, stop. Because let's get something straight. Hate watching, when you hate watch something, you usually end up hate watching it because you liked it at some point and it became shit. But it became especially invested in, like, 1 or 2 characters, and you just haven't given up yet because those characters are too interesting and you have not decided to YouTube only those clips. That was me in the Vampire Diaries, okay? I have thankfully recently cut the umbilical cord between me and the Vampire Diaries. People ask me where my Vampire Diary reviews. They're probably not going to happen. I have not watched any of this season really, except for the beginning, some parts, but I know everything that's happened because I've read the spoilers. And I have cut the umbilical cord of that. But I will just say this. My hatred of the Vampire Diaries, of Twilight, of City of Bones, does not disable me from being able to see quality. You know? If I could say plenty of good things about Twilight. I know that there are some things that are good about Twilight, but overall it's just not a well-written series. It is a series that can be fun for some people, entertaining for some people, enjoyable for some people. Don't make it good. And I think that a lot of people assume that when you hate watch, you turn off your brain, just giggle. But it's like, what happens is that some people get so wrapped up in loving something that they ignore the fact that, you know, this is not perfect. This has flaws. this has shit character development and character writing. Maybe you should check that. You know, and I feel like, you know, it was once upon a time. Right now that's becoming a hate watch for me. But I loved it to a degree before. And what makes it a hate watch is not that I come into it with an aggressive demeanor, but that they have made it so that I do not feel like I need to put any sort of commitment into this show besides just getting down and sitting there at 8 o'clock, because they don't seem to care about their writing. They can be like, oh, we write all these twists, and the actors will say what they have to say because they're actors and that's what they get paid to do. Although I'm sure some of them are quite happy with what's going on, some may not be, but whatever. But I'm just like, I don't hate watch it because I have nothing better to do. I hate watch it because I enjoyed this show and now it sucks and it frustrates me. Like, the Vampire Diaries this season went to a new degree of just irritating. Like, I have the first 2 seasons of Vampire Diaries on DVD. That's the whole thing. I gave these people my money. I gave them my cash. I allowed myself to be invested in their world. I did that, you know? So don't tell me that because I don't like it, I can't say anything about it. I gave them my money. Okay? And then the other thing is, like, if you're too critical of something, you know, or whatever, let me tell you something, okay? Yes, I'm critical of Lost Girl. Yes, I'm critical of Merlin. Yes, I'm critical of Game of Thrones. Critical as shit about Game of Thrones. And I'm talking about that in another video anyway. But you know what? I give these people my money. I paid $24 for a House Martell shirt. I care about this franchise. Don't tell me I don't care because I'm too critical. I have, do you know how long I waited for Lost Girl to be on DVD? Do you know how quickly I snatched up those DVD box sets when they came out online? I bought them. Okay? Anime stuff, I will pay top dollar for it if it's reasonably priced. If I love something, I will give them my money. I have all the Game of Thrones box sets. It kills me that I was not able to get the Lannister limited edition box set because I wasn't at home and I didn't have cash on me at that time, so I had to get the regular one. Killed me because I love this franchise and I love the whole thing of it. But yet, if I'm critical, I have real issues with what's going on. Oh, you're nitpicky. Oh, just because you're a book reader, blah, blah, blah. It's like anything that's negative that they can find a reason that to hone it on that gives you a specific flaw. Either it's hate watching, or you don't know this or whatever. It's like, that's why you don't like it. That's your problem. That's it. It's like, no, I don't have a problem. I can critically think. There are plenty of shows that I know are aggravating, but I still enjoy. Like, how many seasons did I sit through of Merlin? I liked all 4 seasons. I liked the first 4 seasons of Merlin. Even when it was getting shitty, I enjoyed Merlin because I really enjoyed the characters and what was going on with them. So when the 5th season sucks dick, I'm gonna have to say that because who bought all those box sets? Me. I have all 5 seasons of Merlin because that was my shit and I loved it. But I'm gonna say when it was stupid because I pay good money for stuff and I invest time and energy into things. Like, I know it's weird or whatever, but when I get into a show, I get into a show. Okay, when I get into a book series, I get into a book series. If you give me good content, I will pay top dollar for whatever you provide. Kim Harrison, who's a writer that I love, every time her book comes out on hardcover, I buy it. Libba Bray, I buy it. Even though I didn't like Beauty Queens, doesn't matter. I love Libba Bray. If her book comes out, her name is on it, I will pay top dollar for it. So when she disappointed me with Beauty Queens, I'm going to say so. Because I'm not going to allow other people to tell me that my opinion has to be a certain way because I love her, I should do this. Or if I don't like something, like, no. If something has been bad and it did something good, I will give it all the ooh, because I think that's great. I think it's great when a show can go beyond what we thought it could be and be better. That's great. I love that. And that's amazing. But I hate that we are being told that we're not to have full opinions on something, or at least partial opinions on something, because we don't want to sit down through how many seasons of this. Like, final ranty bit. But like when Girls came out, and that was a whole extravaganza, and people were like, not interested, don't want to watch it. Everyone was like, well, if you don't watch it, you have no opinion. So I watched it. I watched the whole thing. And it was shit. And I did not like it at all the first season. And they were like, well, why'd you watch it if you're gonna hate it? Because if I didn't sit down through this and watch it, you wouldn't listen to a goddamn thing I have to say. You're still not going to, because you know I didn't like it to begin with. But this idea that we have to just either blindly love something or give everything our full attention because that's just the way we should consume media. Why should we be ignorant about what we consume? Why shouldn't we critically analyze it or be skeptical about it? Why should we not expect them to give us something of quality to enjoy ourselves? Why do we have to sit down through 800 pages of crap to get to one good bit, and then everyone's talking about that one awesome bit and ignore the fact that the entire thing sucked balls? Okay, I am currently trudging through A Dance with Dragons. I started A Dance with Dragons in October. It is May. That book is ass. I hate it so much. It's literally the most painful, one of the most painful reading experiences I have is reading this goddamn book. But I'm gonna finish it. I'm on page 600 and something of like over 1,000. It's gonna get done. I don't know when, but it's going to get done. But it's okay because the next book's not coming out for God knows when. So I have plenty of time to finish it. But the thing about it too, I had to borrow it from the library and keep borrowing it. I have a connection with them. But when the other book comes out, when Winds of Winter comes out, I'm gonna buy it. Right in hard copy. The reason I was waiting to buy this because I wanted to be in softcover because I have all the rest of the books on softcover. Now I'm like, screw it, I want to know right away. I am invested. I give people my money if I like their product. They have no right to disappoint me. When they disappoint me, I should be able to say something. I owe no one nothing once I give them cash money, okay? Once I become a consumer of their product, I can do whatever the fuck I want with it. And if I only consume a little bit of it, I can say something because that was time that I could have been doing many other things, okay? A half-hour Girls, that could be a half-hour Digimon. Okay, I had Digimon Season 1 to rewatch. I could have been doing that with my life instead. And I'm about to go do that in a few. So, don't tell me what I can